welcome once again, especially to the last edition of Journalist Hangout this week. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the Hangout, Tinubu and Sultan react to Benue crisis. They say enough is enough. Dogara warns lawmakers against neglecting legislative duties over 2019 election, and later on, we'll take you to Kaduna State, where teachers there have called off the strike, just as Governor El Rufai has allowed sacked teachers to reapply. I will be hanging out with colleagues Babajide Kolade Otitoju, BKO. You're welcome. We have Adekunle Yusuf here. Welcome.
I'm glad to be here.
And of course, our prophet here is Ismail Omikwido. We'll tell you about the prophecy later on. Welcome. So let's have quite a hangout this evening. Okay, then let's hit the road. Now, the sickening wave of senseless killings in Benue State and other cities around the country has appropriately provoked distressing cautions from more political and religious leaders. Both the All Progressives Congress national leader, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar III, warn of very dire consequences if the mindless orgy of killings is not put to an end immediately. To both men, enough is enough. But at the hangout, enough is already too much. Jide, let's start.
Yes, and it's a good thing that the heavy hitters are talking now. Hopefully, the government of the day will take their suggestions seriously, and we can come to an end of this nightmare. I am particularly tired of these killings, especially the fact that in the course of the week, the killings continued in Benue and in Adama. You know. So what Shiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is saying is, look, certain things have to change. He recognized the fact that climate change has a role to play in all of this. The desert has expanded, so farmers are looking for where to really graze their cattle, and he's saying that the old nomadic way of grazing cattle can no longer continue under the present conditions that we have found ourselves, which means that and they're saying that the headsmen must be ready to accept change, but that the government, in introducing this change to them, has to get them to realize that, look, this, you have so much to benefit from this. So we shouldn't just say, oh, Fulani headsmen should stop their popular way of grazing cattle. You must show them the alternative and demonstrate to them that they stand to benefit a lot from the alternative that the government will certainly come up with. So, and he's also saying, look, for people who truly believe in Nigeria, they must put Nigeria above themselves, which means that they must love their neighbors. Loving your neighbor, in his view, is loving the entity called Nigeria. So if we can love one another, if we can show love to one another at all times, these incidents that have to do with killing our fellow Nigerians will stop. Yes, will stop.
Kunle, you know, the Jagaban further went on to say that past administrations did little or nothing to deal with the problem. So here we are, in a manner of speaking, reaping the ugly fruits of our ugly labor.
Yeah.
If you put it in perspective.
If you read the speech from Ashwaju, it wasn't like the way of the presidency that every time one big issue comes up, that the first thing you do is to blame the past administration. No. Tinubu was just trying to provide context to this crisis that we've been living with this problem for some time, that we have had smaller crises of this over this issue before.
Yeah.
Then we've had bigger ones. But the problem we've had all along was that we have not been this provoked. There has not been this kind of national outrage towards this issue. Maybe perhaps we may have found or started something, you know, towards finding solution. You see, when you read the statement very well, you will see that, you know, I see Ashwaju like an asset to this administration, because when you look at the way this government has handled the crisis so far, I've never been pleased. I've been extremely disappointed. One step after the other, it doesn't still, you know, win my heart. You understand? When you look at the way they've done it, how many arrests have been made? You propose solutions, fine. You say, love your neighbor. You don't preach that to somebody who's a victim. You preach that to the aggressors. Then later, but we can discuss a lot of things. But when you look at what Ashwaju has said here now, and I think everybody will want to take what he said, you know, very seriously. It's not to say like, here, what we are saying here is not now. This is something that will take us to the future. If we allow this to degenerate, or we allow politics to color whatever we want to do, you will see that he was trying to appeal to politicians that they know how to play their games, but it shouldn't be, because of this shouldn't be allowed, you know, to be politicized.
Yeah.
And part of the malady, I mean, the bane of our problems, I mean, in national life, is that every issue is always over-politicized.
Or read, you know, you read ethnicity into all of them.
When you bring politics, you talk ethnicity, you talk religion, you talk...
Yeah, Ishmael, but the Sultan says, questions the competence of security agencies vis-a-vis these senseless killings, and wondering what had been done and what would be done. Timely? Too little? Too late?
Well, I think one of the greatest challenges we have in this country is the ethnicization and politicization of crimes. I want to say, with all sense of modesty, that in the time past, and even now, the security apparatus have not really lived up to expectation. But I want to disagree with my colleague who said that there had never been this type of national outrage before over killings. I recall the killings in 2016 in Agatu. Then it was called Agatu killings. It was never called Benue killings. But Agatu is also part of Benue.
Yeah.
And throughout those killings, what did the governor do? The governor, rather than rally support from the political leaders in the Benue South, who are predominantly PDP, he was going to Nasarawa State to seek for favor, to seek for assistance, to the extent that, together with the Nasarawa State governor, they signed a purported memorandum of understanding on behalf of the Agatu people to allow the Fulani men to graze in Agatu land. But the Agatu people rose against it. And the statement majority of us are now criticizing Mr. President for was the same thing Otom told the Agatu people in February 2017. He said Agatu people should learn to live with the Fulani herdsmen and that they should learn to forget and forgive. So if Otom can say that in 2017, what is wrong in Mr. President saying his own in 2018? Having said that, we must try to differentiate between bandits, who are criminals, and the herdsmen. But you see, the moment we lump these things together, we may never get solution to them. In Zamfara, in Katsina, these bandits have sacked the entire village, they have sacked the entire town. But they will not read religion into it, probably because in Zamfara and Katsina, they are predominantly Muslims.
No, but those are cattle rustlers.
That's what I'm saying. Now,
they are different. These issues are different.
They are different.
Cattle rustlers are different from the people who go to kill, like we saw in Benue.
And I am saying that it is not possible for a man.
Have you seen the difference?
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying that it is not possible for a man who moves around with his cattle to kill and run away. Because where would those cows run to?
Yeah.
So I am of the view that even those we call Fulani herdsmen are criminals. So we should deal with them as criminals, not as herdsmen. And in dealing with them, the Emir of Kano is a Fulani man, Sultan is a Fulani man. Can we rally these people together and try to even find out from them how best do you think we can do this thing? Because if you look at Jigawa, for example, when Sule Lamido was governor, for the 8 years he spent, I think they recorded just one of those skirmishes. And how did he do it? Once he became governor, the first thing he did was to ensure that the cattle routes, which had been existing right from colonial eras, he made sure that they were clearly demarcated. And he called the farmers...
And defined.
And defined. And he told the farmers, look, on no account should you farm around these areas.
Yeah.
And the Fulani herdsmen, we told them, look, you cannot come in during farming season. You come after harvest. And once these things were clearly defined, they were able to maintain peace. I think the problem we have most times is that we don't get to solve problem. We don't get to provide solution to a problem until
it snowballs into something else. I'm sorry. The Sultan said he went 3 times to Benue last year, and they made suggestions to the governor, but nothing was done.
Yeah, because what he could have suggested may not have sat well with not just the governor but his people. Look, this governor was responding to the pulse. He was feeling the pulse of the people. Initially, this governor, just as he said, wanted even this grazing reserves.
Anti-grazing. Okay.
He wanted grazing reserves in that state. The people rose against him. When they rose against him, he saw clearly. Because it is these killings. There's no way, if you've been having a running battle with a set of people, they've killed your wives, killed your children, you are not going to feel comfortable to have them come around, or even to have them
neighbors,
or have a place given to them where they will live in perpetuity. This is the fear of the Benue people.
Yeah.
Before the Agatu killings, in 2014, in Guma, in Logo, some local governments, and Gwe West, the herdsmen sacked villages. If you see pictures that we had, because we got someone to go there to do a 15-minute story. They sacked villages, killed people. Before even 2014 that I'm talking to you about, I was in Benue State in 2012 when these same people almost even killed the governor, the governor's convoy. So the thing is, the truth is, the herdsmen are not the people who kill. I've said that repeatedly.
I wanted
they are not the people who kill.
Yeah.
They don't even carry weapons of any sort, just their stick. But when there are conflicts between the Fulani herdsmen and their hosts,
natives, okay,
maybe they poisoned their cattle, maybe they killed, as it happened in the case of, in one case in Plateau State, where a Fulani boy was killed by some farmers. They will send for the Fulani militia. Okay. They can send for them. They will come from Mauritania, come from Mali, come from Senegal. How do they do it? They send kola nuts. They send emissaries with
That's the
kola
symbol.
nut. Yes. Once they see the kola nut, they know that their services are needed. And then they come into town to kill people. This is what has been happening. They don't just kill. They kill either in response to being killed. Because I remember on this table, although some funny people on Facebook and other places have been saying, oh, Jide didn't complain when they kill people in Noman. On this table, when in the Bachama area, Fulani children and women were killed, I warned that these people were going to retaliate. And as we speak, they've not stopped retaliating. So they do not just attack. It's either maybe the cattle trampled on their farmlands, destroy their crops, and people poison their cattle. When you poison their cattle, they will send the militia after you. This is what happens nearly all the time.
Kunle, so it's like a vicious cycle, because almost every time at this table we keep talking about this. And security, we talk about information gathering and so on. At a time like this, now the IG has been given 14 days. It is thinning down to about 10 days now to go to fish out culprits. A tall order?
Far, far tall order. Especially for a man who first jumped the gun. You know what he said? That what happened, the humongous killings, they were just a product of communal clashes and all that.
Yes,
of course, he apologized.
He could have been saying that based on info.
Believe me, in some other societies, that will cost you your job. I will not be the commander-in-chief and still allow the IG who came to the public and told, deceive the public, this. He will never be the one that will handle the crisis. Because you are not fit to be an IG under my own administration, because I want solution to the problem.
You don't understand
As the president of the country, I will not be everywhere. I rely on people like you and you that are put in places. And if your judgment is so fatally flawed, believe me, you are not fit to be my IG. The fact that you still, refer such, criminality, the solution to such a person, shows the level of governance we have in Nigeria. But that's by the way. You will see what will happen. From this IG that I know, everything will still be swept under the carpet. How many arrests have been made? They will tell you that they are unable to find them.
But he's still on the job. He's still on it.
He's still on the job, but we are Nigerians. We know.
More killings right there,
we know our country.
Oh God.
You gave him job to come and do. Are killings still not taking place?
In the same state?
In the same state and elsewhere. So if he's so good at the job, there should be some respite.
Ismail, let me take you away from that directly and share some of the thoughts of the Sultan on this. He said no apologies for being a Fulani. Obviously, nobody would begrudge him that.
Nobody else asked him to apologize.
No, but he dismissed the fears of Islamization and cautioned religious leaders. Interestingly, he is one of them. He is just a traditional ruler and a religious.
Yes, you're right.
So he's giving the bait. So where did this Islamization thing come about? It calls for a lot of introspection.
Yes,
here.
you see, the thing is, I think the Sultan is only trying to be a leader. Those things he said were in direct response to the statement issued by Khan. And I started by saying that until we stop the ethnicization and politicization of issues, we may never get the results. If you read the statement issued by Khan, you begin to wonder, who are those helping and assisting such a religious leader to do his job? Because, you see, each time people talk about Islamization, I laugh. Because I don't see how possible it is. I'm a Muslim, for crying out loud, but I went to a Catholic school in Benue State in Otukpo. From my primary school to my secondary school, I did CRK. I never did IRK, but I'm a Muslim.
By choice.
And it didn't change anything. From my JS1 to JS3, I was attending Catholic, the Mass.
Mass, yeah, okay.
To date, I can recite the Angelus for you from beginning to the end.
Okay.
You understand me? So when people talk about Islamization of the entire country, it's just politics, because it's not something that is possible.
Barefaced politics.
It's barefaced politics. And so long as we continue to mark
but Ishmael, the people who these things are banded to are more the problem.
Yes, because you know, if you are my leader, I look onto you and you tell me this is what Mr. Ajide is trying to do, I will believe you because you are my leader. That is a problem we have. You need to go to the social media and see the way
Oh, yeah,
you know.
you
In fact, from the southeast, the youths from the Ohanese Ndibo, part of the statement they also issued was that for the governors to stop the Islamization, the gradual Islamization of the country, because that is what they have been fed with, and that is what is going on. You understand me? You know. So,
but you are not surprised.
I'm not surprised, but it's unfortunate that some of these things are coming from religious leaders. Now, you see the Benue issue. Maybe we should take the Benue issue as a case study.
Yeah.
We are banning open, they call open grazing. Now, you said we can apply for land to ranch, whatever name you call it. Now, what I expected the governor to do was to probably give us a sample of the land and probably have something that looked like a ranch is talking about, and call the Fulani leaders, look, gentlemen, I don't want you people to move about with your cattle again. This is what you must do, and this is where you must graze. Now, let us now see them defy that order. But you have not provided alternative, and you are now saying what they are used to must not happen. You are indirectly calling for anarchy.
But it's not enough to kill.
It's not enough. No, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing to justify the killing.
But let me. I assured you, you know, emphasize that when he said in his speech, reforms and change are difficult because they are always and everywhere resisted by those who gain by the system, the old order. Yes. So how do you whip the Miyetti Allah into line? It's because the picture is very clear.
You see, it's not the people who gain from a system alone that are resistant to change. By nature, the fear of the unknown drives us to not want to see change.
Man detests change.
Yes, man naturally detests change because you are just not sure. Where will this lead me? Won't this make me poorer? You see, the Fulani headsmen have their fears. The best that government can do is to address their fears. Once you address their fears, that was why I talked about what the Sokoto state government had been doing in Rabat.
Okay.
You know, the place of birth of the late Sultan.
Yeah.
That's why I talked about it. Invested so much money. By the time they see what's on ground, they see that even where you are prepared for them, there's access to veterinary doctors, access to water that they can travel for 10 kilometers to just looking for water. You know, by the time they see everything and high quality feed, they see it for their cattle. Honestly, we can get them to change. But you need a lot of sensitization. As far as they are concerned, for the headsman who has only about 30 to 40 cattle, when you are talking to him about even cattle colony or grazing reserve, he thinks that he has not got so much, and you are going to be asking him for money for this and for that. They have their own fears. That's why they want to continue to do it the way they've always done it. But we know in doing it the way they've always done it, they've always run into conflict with farmers. Run into conflict with farmers, your animals will eat their crops, destroy everything that they work for in a year.
Yeah.
If you do that, their blood will boil. They will take you on. If they can kill you, they will kill you because you put their life in ruins. So, and when that happens, the retaliation becomes most likely to happen. And when retaliation happens, that cycle of killing and fresh killings, killing and protracted killings will continue. That is why we have this situation. So it's not, the government needs to get the buy-in of Miyetti Allah. I'm disappointed at Miyetti Allah, even at the time when Buhari is trying to get people to agree to cattle colonies. Miyetti Allah quickly said, no, we do not want cattle colony. You just want to continue to do it in the old way. And it will get to a point that change must happen.
Kule, Jagaban also talked about much political and economic power residing in the hands of a few people. You put this into context? That's to underscore what he has just said.
You mean when we relate this to the herdsmen?
Yeah, yeah. No. Leadership and the political will.
You see, for most of our problems, lack of political will to do what is right. In this scenario, one of the first things to send signals to these herdsmen is to arrest some of them and put them on trial. No matter the provocation, you don't have a right to kill anybody.
Yeah.
And some of these people that you are alleged to have provoked you have been living with them for years. Why now? What has changed? But you need to send a deterrent. You should make some scapegoats. Even when the mass burial was being done the other day, you see Miyetti Allah coming on TV live saying, no, this, that. You don't do that. What do you gain by killing people? Because whatever you claim to do, we are not the only country where people rear animals.
Yes, of course.
We are not the only country in the world where we have herdsmen, where we eat,
and communities.
So why are we different? That's one point that I'm unable to find a solution to. But it's because we have been living with this crisis for years. How many people have been prosecuted?
Impunity.
So now, when you see the Miyetti Allah people, when they talk, you see this sense of entitlement, you see obscene arrogance, that they believe that it has to be my way or there will be anarchy. It shouldn't be in a country where you want to preach, love your neighbors. How will I love a neighbor that is injurious to my living?
Ismail, the Sultan said things like the cattle rearers live in the bush. They don't care about your electricity, your roads, and so on, because they live in the bush. But who says they should be
permanently in the bush?
Yeah.
You see, that is their own lifestyle. You see, an average, a typical Fulani man from the bush.
Sorry, this Ishmael is not yours. He's calling from up north. Please welcome. Ishmael, welcome. Or your state, yeah, okay then.
Okay. No, Hajjai Ismail is from Ibadan.
Welcome.
Hello.
You go on.
I should go on, okay. Good evening, fellow Nigerians.
Good evening.
You are making a broadcast. Go on.
Okay. I'm sorry. I congratulate you all here. If we have your type in Nigeria, then Nigeria should be grateful. The irony is this. If you have two wives and you refuse to give one what she is supposed to take, then you are in trouble. Yes, the henchmen, I personally have been telling them, we eat all we have in the farm. And what we do, they themselves don't even eat the cows. We were the people eating the cows. Then if you poison a cow, why should if they decide to say, okay, let me go and slaughter the cow and give you, and you start having cancer, what will happen? So this government should look into it. People, Mr. Gite, if I don't know how to say it, Mr. Gite, well done.
Okay.
He's doing a very, very good job. And people will say you are siding Buhari or you are siding this. He is telling the truth. And those who contribute to this issue, it is good when they talk, you ask them how old are they? How old are they? How old are they before they start talking? Because some of them don't know the history of this country. Moreover, history should be allowed in secondary school so that people will know what is going on. As I'm talking to you presently now at 65, I can tell you what Nigeria is. But when people, and the press should please good information, not every day, herdsmen.
Yeah, Ishmael, thank you. We share your sentiments. And just why not, as you were saying.
As I was saying, you see, it is true that a typical Fulani man who lives in the bush has no business with government. He doesn't care whether government exists or not. But then, over the years, the Nigerian government, you know, has been trying to reform some of them. And that is why today we have a few of them who have embraced education. You know, I remember before I left Kaduna, I know a few of them that have even risen to, you know, big positions in, you know, in government.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we must not leave the solution to this problem to federal government alone. Each of the states must look at the peculiarity of their environment and find a way of solving it. Because when we say federal government, we may not get anywhere. But if you look at the peculiarity of your state, find a way of resolving this matter, I'm sure, I mean, we'll get it off our neck.
Many thanks. As we always say on this program, whatever we say here is not necessarily the last word on the matter, but let the debate continue. We are in agreement with both the Sultan and the Ashiwaju that enough is already too much. With 389 days to go to the 2019 elections, and with INEC's election roster already out, it's second nature to have professional politicians beat the starter's gun. Speaker Yakubu Dogara picked and chose the time and place of his caution to fellow lawmakers at the Green Chamber when he harped on legislative duties over 2019 elections. What better time than resumption from Christmas holidays and plenary to drop the warning? Jide, you cannot stop a mouse, a cat from mousing.
Yeah, it's already a tradition here that the last 6 to 8 months to election, governance literally goes to sleep. And that is not good. That is not good for us at all. It's unfortunate that this time around, politicians have responded to the INEC timetable by now focusing on the 2019 election. You will have been seeing even rallies being showed on TV and all that. Oh, yeah. You know, clearly the campaigns for 2019
rallies by other means.
Yeah, rallies, yes, by other means. You've seen rallies in the East and everywhere. So they are already preparing for 2019. And if politicians are already in the mood, then we are in trouble, because we still have a long time to the election. I would expect that maybe like four months at least to the election, yes, they will be in the thick of things preparing for the election. But if one whole year to the election, people are already preparing to win, and I think, was it not Shehu Sani, the senator, said it, that right now in the Senate, what the members are after is how they can be re-elected. That even those things that they should say, those things that they should do, they are not prepared to do it because they have their eyes on the 2019 election.
Kunle, who tells you the speaker is not interested in retaining his seat?
All of them. So it's not only the speaker.
Yeah.
Even when you talk about the legislatures, I mean the lawmakers, even from the presidency, the governors, as you speak, governance is on suspension. Forget what they deny it. Everybody is busy politicking. A group will be opening Buhari's campaign office in Ibadan tomorrow. That's for re-election.
Every day they are endorsing Buhari.
So many of the governors don't stay in their states again. They are busy urging Buhari, making this, you know, going to Abuja. So that's our style. But unfortunately, this is not good for a nation that is in dire need of development. It's so sad, but we thought things will change, but I don't think...
But at the end of the day, Ishmael, it is the people who determines everything.
Yeah, it is true.
It is the people who determine everything.
Well, you see, I don't know where Dogara is coming from, really, because I don't know whether he's trying to...
Ismail is coming from his
No,
constituency.
why I'm saying so is this. You see,
Yeah.
it was the member of the executive, in fact, the SGF, who came to the National Assembly to warn them that they should work on the 2018 budget because by February or April that politics will start. And in response to that, Saraki on Tuesday warned Buhari and his team that they should not allow governance to suffer on the altar of their ambition.
Yeah.
So I would have expected Dogara to queue behind Saraki, if for anything, at least to toe that line. But for him to now say he's warning the lawmakers, you know, each time, you see, what I've observed in the life of this administration is that, you see, each time the Senate appears to be taking what look like a hard posture against the executive, the Dogara and his people will come to act like a counterbalance.
Yeah.
That is the way I see it.
But Shehu Sani said the same thing about his
He
colleagues.
said the same thing, but what I'm saying is this.
But every
It's-
one of them is political.
Even Dogara, who is talking, is he not concerned about the next election? Because as it is now, it appears he has mended friends with his governor, and so most likely he's not likely to look for the governorship of Bauchi. Maybe the next thing is, okay, let me see how to return to...
Retain your seat.
Retain my seat and return to the house. So
Yeah.
is he also not political? So why will you now be telling colleagues to do what you yourself, you are already doing?
Governance will not take a
Well,
step.
there is no... Well,
That is it.
But you had said it,
Unfortunately-
it has become second nature
unfortunately,
here.
it has become our norm here.
No,
And-
I think
and
that...
I think one
I think
way-
there's a sense in what he said, because if Shehu Sani himself can accuse his own colleagues in the Senate of not bothering themselves about governance, but are more concerned about 2019 election, that means that in the National Assembly, things are already playing out that suggest that these politicians are not taking governance seriously anymore, that they are beginning to focus more
Any more
on the
than they
election.
had done in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, then we won't belabor the matter. We'll leave the judgment to you. But we know one thing for sure. A man, especially a politician, is ready to die for his interest rather than for his rights. So we'll pass over and go to the next topic, which I think is even more engaging. In what appears to be an about face, or if you like, an about turn, Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai says the sacked primary school teachers may reapply for reinstatement into the teaching profession. The state chapter of the Nigeria Union of Teachers in Kaduna had directed a downing of tools on January 8, and so after 10 days of the strike, there's a little respite. The teachers appear set to resume duties, but the original problem is still largely unsolved. Jide,
Yeah.
still largely unsolved.
I've seen people jubilate over this matter, but I think such jubilations are misplaced. But when you look at the man that they are dealing with, the governor of Kaduna State, yes, he has asked them to reapply, but they will write another test. They will write another test. They will be interviewed. They will do certificate verification. And it is only after they've met the set criteria that Nasiru El-Rufai will allow them to
So reapplying in itself is not...
automatic.
No, it's not. Because even as we speak, some other folks have applied for the vacant jobs.
Yeah.
So nobody knows how many of these sacked teachers will reapply in the final analysis. But his plan is, okay, if you want to reapply, I'm giving you another chance. But you must meet our conditions before you become, before you teach. Because what El-Rufai is saying is that he is a product of public schools and that he has an obligation to make public schools good enough to produce people like him, because it's called a first class at ABU. So he's saying that for public schools must be made attractive, must be good enough, and being good enough has a lot to do with the quality of instruction.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the building that matters. The quality of instruction must be top-notch. So that is his own goal, that let's have the right teachers teach these pupils. And he is not prepared to back down. He's as stubborn as they come. You know, I've been saying that governors ought to do something about the civil service, right-size the civil service. Most governors are too cowardly to take that step. Apart from Asiwaju, who did it back then during his first term, when he right-sized his Lagos civil service. This man, Nasiru El-Rufai, is the only governor that I can see doing that. Because when El-Rufai came in, he made it clear that it makes no sense for 99% of what comes to the state to be used to pay salaries of just about 1% of the people. So he decided to look at the civil service, starting with the local governments. In Zaria local government, the admin department alone had more than 300 staff.
This is plus ghosts.
You don't even see them until the day the salary will be paid. Yeah. And he said, how do I deal with a situation like this? He moved in. He decided to right size. Today, there's no local government in Kaduna State that the entire staff are more than 300. So including even the Zaria local government that used to have 300 admin staff, none of those local governments in Kaduna State today has more than 300 staff put together.
Yusuf, the chairman of NUT in Kaduna State, Comrade Audu Amba, supports the governor in this campaign. How do you reconcile that with what happened? Why did they call for the strike in the first place?
First of all, there is nobody who loves Nigeria, truly loves Nigeria, that will not, endorse what El-Rufai is trying to do in Kaduna State. Because it may sound unpalatable to some people, but the truth is that the public school system is dead. That's collapsed totally.
Yeah.
Not only in Kaduna State, it's all the states of Nigeria.
Around the country.
But if we see somebody who does not care about whether he gets re-elected or not, he wants to take the road that is not usually...
Not common.
So, believe me, I truly commend him. You see, the only mistake he will make, or which I see he's making now, is to say, after somebody, you give him opportunity to play penalty, he fired it over the bar, and he started crying that, said, come and play again. That is an invitation
if
for...
the goalkeeper moves.
If he fails again,
before the penalty stage,
I'm coming. That is an invitation to Ojoro, what we call Ojoro Wuru.
Yeah.
See, when you look at reports from Kaduna State, the SUBEB, the State Universal, whatever education came out to say that the process for getting new teachers is almost concluded, that they have completed the gradings and markings of the scripts of people they want to take, and that by first week of February, the new...
So we are looking at a likely catch 28 or 48 hours?
I'm talking that the new
catch 22.
The new employees, the new teachers will be deployed to their various schools in the state. Now, they want to bring political solution into a matter that doesn't need politics.
Yeah, yeah.
El-Rufai has been going fine. Let people who will cry. As long as what you are bringing in is not the same quality that you are pushed out. It's not worse than what you are pushed out. But it should go the whole hog. So that at the end of the day, it will not end up the same.
No.
History will forgive
it. It will not be like Shomole.
I pray it doesn't, because now if you say those who have failed this exam should come again, what magic would they do?
Ismaili, the trouble here, are you sure we are not dealing with the Mieti here? By other means here, it's... So, but mine is, Labour Union has the knack for calling for strike at the least opportunity. So why won't Labour call out a strike, general, if you like? Let's take Kaduna as the metaphor here. Look, the standard of education in this country has gone to the dogs. Let's do something about it.
Well, you see, if you follow Labour history very well, I've covered the NSC before. And I know that there are what we call politics of strike. You know, there are politics, you know, involving, you know, some of these
calling for strikes,
yeah. Calling for strikes here and there. When I learned that AUT called off that Kaduna strike, the first thing that came to my mind, because when that protest was held against El-Rufai, I told some of my colleagues that, look, if this crowd can be mobilized on the day of election, I say what it means is that both El-Rufai and Buhari will lose Kaduna State. Because the type of crowd I saw being called out on the day of that protest was the type of crowd that usually welcomed Buhari to the state. So I said, whoever that has mobilized this crowd has done a great job. So when I learned that they were calling off the strike, the first thing I did was to ask myself, what has changed? And I tried to make a few calls here and there, and what I found out was not different from what Mr. Babajide, you know, said. You know, but the El-Rufai that I know, if there's one public official that has got guts, is that man. Because he started from day one as if re-election does not matter.
Yeah.
You know, I've had cause to engage him before one-on-one, and he said, look, that he has told his team that don't under any circumstance say we'll leave so thing when we come back because of it. He said, because we are only after this mandate now. So let us do whatever we can do now. And, you know, and take it off from there. Now,
okay, quickly, we have a call from Kaduna, and guess who? Media aide to the governor himself, Muyiwa Adekaya, is here. Muyiwa, I greet you.
Good evening.
Yeah,
good evening.
Great to have you here.
Thank you.
What can you tell us?
Well, I think what has happened in Kaduna over the last 24 hours, you know, is a case of our esteemed colleagues in the media engaging in over-analysis. Yes. What happened? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you are on.
I hear you.
Okay. Look, when last year, the government of Kaduna State issued notices to recruit new teachers, it did not exclude anybody from applying. In any case, your application was as good as the extent to which you met the criteria. The minimum requirement was possession of the Nigerian certificate in education. Okay?
NCE,
and 40,000 Nigerians responded to that advert. But the NUT in Kaduna tried to discourage some of its members from reapplying. Some did, and others did not. But once it was clear that the marking and grading of the scripts of those who sat for the recruitment test, those 43,000, had been completed, those who had been discouraged from applying suddenly started agitating for a chance to apply. So the Kaduna State government did not issue any new conditions. The fact is that it had always kept the window open for anybody who was interested in teaching to apply.
Yeah.
The NUT thought that it could browbeat the government not to act, okay, and therefore try to discourage its members from applying. But all that that ship has long sailed.
Yeah.
Now, with the new recruitment process ongoing, the State Universal Basic Education Board has to adopt a policy of continuous recruitment. Okay? Some teachers are going to reach retirement age. Some would go for cleaner pastures. Some may have other reasons, okay, not to be able to complete with continue with their career, that they need to replace them. So what has happened is that yesterday the NUT issued a statement calling off the strike, where they adopted the faith-saving excuse that it was because their members had been asked to reapply. The fact is that in November, December last year, when the notice of recruitment came out, okay, nobody was excluded. So long as you had minimum NCE, you could apply, then you will face a recruitment test, interviews, certificate verification, and all other stages necessary to be recognized.
Let's share this. I'm behaving like the devil's advocate here. What if there's a stalemate, if you understand what I mean? Have you envisaged this? If there's a stalemate at the end of the day?
Well, there cannot be a stalemate because, look, out of the 43,000 that started that test, if only 5,000 end up meeting the quality criteria Kaduna State government expects, only those 5,000 will be recruited. Okay?
Okay.
Fresh notice of recruitment will be issued. There will be no rush to take what is available. There is a determination to take what is qualified.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, it's not about quantity, it's about quality.
Okay then, okay. At least thankfully, Muiwa, the NUT chair is on the same page with the governor. Education has to be qualitative, and so you couldn't go for anything less. Okay?
Well, we hope that it should be, that being on the same page with the government will be demonstrated in practice.
Again, we wish you Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you. Muiwa Dekeye, media aide to the governor. The picture is clear.
Yeah. You know, and if you hear what he said very well, what it means is that those who went on strike because they were sacked, they are not to be reabsorbed. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Now,
so what's the essence of this exercise?
For me, like he said, that they never barred them from reapplying in the first instance.
Okay.
So whether they apply, they don't apply, it doesn't change anything. So I am seeing the NUT.
It appears only one side, only one team is reading this.
Yes,
the other side is not.
Not. So what I am seeing from the media aids submission is that the NUT is using the alibi of being given opportunity to reapply to call off the strike. Because ab initio, if you remember very well, they said that only the Teacher Training Council has the right to organize such a competency test for them. Yeah. So has that changed? So why are they calling off the strike? So, and I think that goes to show what we have said.
They are just trying to save
the governor is not going to change his stance. So what it means is that they called off the strike probably to save their own face.
But at the same time, the governor has offered them another chance. That I know. So, and those who have reapplied, if they pass, they will be reabsorbed. That's why the governor has come up with the idea of continuous recruitment. They will ultimately find opportunities, find a space for those who do well.
After all, not all 21,000 of them could have been.
The state said they needed 25,000. They sacked about 21,000. Yeah. So there is no way they can just get 25,000 at a go. So it has to be a continuous thing.
Yeah.
I think he explained.
That's what he's talking about. And those who are already close to retirement age, those ones will be let, they will let them go. So the new teachers will take the place of those who are already close to retirement. They are going to do in a graduated manner, whereby people will come in as these ones leave. You know, they'll put some people on standby and let them come in. So it's giving them another chance. Whether they can effectively take that chance
is another thing.
Given the standards that have to be met, is an answer.
As we have agreed, for once, be the man, be your own man, stand on a platform, defend the platform. Exactly. So El-Rufai is not breaching any law here?
No, he has not breached any law. Nobody can accuse him of breaching any law. What I want is for all governors in Nigeria to toe a similar path.
Not only governors, please.
Close your thoughts
Not
quickly.
only governors, but our political leaders must have the courage, because leadership is courage. Courage is leadership. Must have the courage to take decisions so long as they know in their mind that that decision is for the good of the people.
Yeah, leaders must not be afraid to take the big decisions. The decision that El-Rufai has taken is a big decision. It's a decision that may make or mar him. It may make or mar his political future. But he's convinced that it's the right thing to do, and he's gone ahead to do it. Oshomole was in this kind of situation, but because elections were approaching, the people that he fired, he told them that they could come back. So I hope that...
Including the one that could not read
including blind, even blind teachers. You know, I hope that in this case...
At that point, He was playing politics?
Yes, he was playing politics. He brought them all back.
The man died in him.
He brought them all back. You know? So, and I'm convinced that if this kind of tests should be conducted across Nigeria, what we've seen in Kaduna will be a child's play.
Oh, yeah.
Because the education system is that bad now.
All right, folks, we must go. Let me thank Ishmael Omikpidon.
Thank
right?
you very much.
I said you were a prophet. So
You didn't bother to explain it.
no, leave it for after hours. Thank you for coming. Dekule Yusuf, many thanks.
It's my pleasure.
And not least of all, Babajide Kolade Otitoju. I thank you.
I thank you.
Well, Ono, as they say, it takes 60 seconds to be a hero. That's the message. And I want to thank you for being there. We will go today, return on Monday, that's all. Join us next for a fresh episode on Monday. Watch the repeat broadcast of this at 11 tonight. Also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye for now. God bless you.